Very warm welcome to the show. Now, the Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has said that no aspirant has been screened or disqualified from the governorship race yet. A 6-man committee led by the House of Representatives member Julius Ihobari was set up last Monday to look into ways to prune the number of aspirants from 29 to a manageable number. After the committee met with the aspirants, a report emerged that the committee had screened and pruned the number of the aspirants to 10 and then eventually 6. While some are also alleging that it finally pruned it down to 4, a development which is causing rancor within the party. Now, the APC State Publicity Secretary, Peter Owade, said the committee set up was an advisory one and not a screening committee. It says the committee was to meet with aspirants and see how the numbers could be pruned down so that their primary, which will be held on February 17, will be free of rancor. Well, to help clarify things, I'm now being joined in studio by Clem Agba, APC Governorship Aspirant and former Minister of State for Budget and National Planning. So good to have you.
Thank you for having me, Sambo.
Yeah, and how have you been, after office?
I think I've been doing well.
And you want to join the governorship race fully now. You've obtained a form, and you were the very first to do that in the APC. And now it looks like there's some rancor. What exactly is the Julius Ihobari Committee all about? Is this sanctioned by the APC National Working Committee, or it's just a committee set up by APC leader in Edo State, Senator Adams Oshomole, to promote a sort of consensus which is now causing rancor?
Yeah, not that I want to join the gubernatorial race. I'm already in the race, and I made my declaration on December 14th, 2022, after due consultations with stakeholders of the party. It's true that on the 13th of January, the aspirants were called for a meeting. It was a family meeting just to find ways and means of reducing or pruning down the number of aspirants so that there wouldn't be rancor. And it was also felt that since at the end of the day it's going to be just one candidate, all 29 going into the race would just be a means of raising funds for the party. And that if we could do something in-house to help ourselves and prune it down, it would be a lot better. All aspirants agreed, and a 6-man committee was set up. And they interviewed the aspirants.
Sorry, I think that's where the controversy lies. Who actually set up the 6-man committee? Because the State Publicity Secretary is saying that this is just a mere advisory committee among you people, not by the APC National Working Committee.
Yeah, definitely it wasn't by the APC National Working Committee. Okay. These all are in-house arrangements by the state party leadership. And we all subscribed to it, all of us. We agreed, and we were told the terms of reference. And at the end of the day, I think it was on the 19th, that the leadership invited us again to tell us the outcome of the committee's report. I don't know where the number 10 is coming from, because they never mentioned during the course of reportage that there were 10. All we were told was that it was reduced to 6, pruned down to 6, 2 from each of the senatorial district. And thereafter, we were dismissed and we left. And the committee members went back to their respective locations.
All right. I just want to read out the names that were chosen. I mean, for Edo North, there's Prince Clem Agba, which happens to be yourself, and then NS Afolabi Umahihi, that's for Edo North. And then for Edo Central, we have Senator Monday Okpebolo and Colonel David Imuse. I mean, he's been an APC person all the way. And then for Edo South, we have Honorable Dennis Idahosa and then Honorable Lucky Masuen. And this is the genesis of the controversy, because others are saying that what criteria was used to screen them out I'm very sure you know Honorable Anamero. I mean, I hosted him here sometime last week, and just yesterday he held a press conference in Nigeria, in Abuja here, saying that, I mean, the committee, the stakeholder screening committee did not spell out the criteria it actually used in screening others out, 23 persons out. And so these names of 6 persons were just announced, and they are actually saying that something is going wrong.
I think that that would be incorrect to say that there was no criteria that was set. And when the report was also being read, we were told, number one is your winning your unit, your ward, a local government, senatorial district, and the presidential election in the last election, and that we were told.
Okay, so the results of the last presidential election was used.
Part of it,
okay.
And it carried 50%. All of this.
Okay.
Your contribution to the party over time. You know, your fidelity with the party. Have you been in and out, in and out, in and out? So, and all of these were weighted, and we were given the weights. The only thing is that when the results were announced, they didn't put it in the order of performance, neither were discussed, read out. But to say that the criteria or the terms of reference were not given to us, that would be incorrect.
All right, and the APC National Secretariat is insisting that, look, it's whatever it agrees upon eventually that will now be deemed to be the reality, that all aspirants are free to buy their forms. Wouldn't that contradict the outcome of this screening committee set up by Edo APC stakeholders?
I don't think it did, because even at that meeting, we were also told that this is advisory.
Okay.
You know, if you choose to go ahead, you could. But if you agreed and subscribed to a process, and the result is out, say, why wouldn't you accept that process? But it's up to the individual to decide. There were some people who raised some objections about those who made the list, and saying, we see a number of people here who only won their units, didn't win their ward or local government or the presidency, which carried 50%, and they made the list, and that they did win their unit and ward and local government, and they expect to have scored higher marks. And they were told that it would be looked into. Some of them said they didn't supply the results of the elections for that period, and they were asked to bring them forward.
Okay, so let's address the big elephant in the room here, which is the allegation by a group of concerned Edo APC stakeholders saying that Adams Oshomole, senator representing Edo North, is actually the big masquerade behind the scene, actually constituting this screening committee. And they are appealing to President Bola Tinubu and the APC national chairman to reject the outcome of this screening committee, which has propped you up alongside 5 others, saying that, look, Oshomole cannot in any way decide those who to contest this primary on February 17. And that doing so, we may likely have the same scenario that happened in the past, when he forced his way and had Governor Obaseki and Philip Shaibu foisted on the party, and eventually we can see the result today. How do you respond to such?
Oshomole did not unilaterally set up a committee. Like I said, we were invited for a meeting on the 13th. Yes, he chaired the meeting as the leader of the party in Edo State. His deputy then was also there. Other leaders were there of the party across the 3 senatorial districts. And it was a family meeting. A proposal was put on the table that let us look for ways and means of pruning down so that there will be no rancor. And like I said, we all agreed. So to now say that...
So all these people, including Honorable Dekeri Amero, he's just making noise. Is that what you're saying? Because, I mean,
I don't know.
For him to have come out to address the press yesterday, and you said he signed, he agreed to that screening committee, then something must have gone wrong.
Yeah, he was there. He never objected. I don't recall any one of us that objected to that, to the agreement that there should be a pruning committee.
Yeah, but I was told that there were 25 persons, although I later heard that maybe
on that day, yes, we were about 25, but for the screening, the number had risen to 29.
Okay. Interesting times ahead. And so since you've said Oshomole should not be blamed, I want to go into exactly what you have for the Edo people. Why do you think you deserve to be the governor of Edo State? And considering what we see in the PDP, do you think you're fit enough to be able to take that battle to September 21 if you emerge?
Yeah. Why do I want to be governor? I have always lived in Edo State. I grew up in Edo State. I did my primary, secondary education in Edo State, albeit in the north. I did my tertiary education in Edo Central. Okay? I am married from Edo South. I have traversed the state. I know the issues that we have in the state. I knew how it was 30, 40 years ago. I know the situation it was until Comrade Adams Oshomole came in, and how the state now started going on a growth trajectory. And we all loved it. Some of us made sacrifices. I left my high-paying job in Chevron, took a leave of absence. That was a huge sacrifice to work in that government for 7.5 years.
As a commissioner?
Yes, and we were making progress. And then we left in 2016, believing that one of us was there, who was a member of the economic team, like I was, who participated in putting in place a strategic plan for the state that we all agreed to, and one would have thought that implementation would continue. However, everything got halted. The drains that we built were not being desilted, they were not maintained. New roads were not being built. You know, comrades started what we call the red roof revolution in the secondary, primary and secondary schools. All that stopped. So everything was going backwards. Okay, I look at the inflation rate, 26%. Then you look at the food inflation rate in Edo. I'm speaking particularly about Edo. The food inflation rate is 33.2%. Then you take a look at the consumption pattern in the state. 55.6% is on food. The other 14.9 is for fuel and light, 14.3 for telecoms, and then 14% for education. So if an agrarian state, you know, that has arable land in both the north, the central, and the south, spends 55% of all their income on food, yet food inflation is 33.2%. Doesn't that tell you that there is a problem? That's a huge problem. And I'm asking myself, why is this so? You look at the post-harvest loss, it's 60%. So what is the government doing to arrest this? It's not a situation where production is not going on. There is production, but it's not getting to the market. The farmers are laboring in vain.
Yeah, so how do you intend to turn that around?
So you look at the schools. Just a minute. That's just one part of it. You look at schools. It's not just about buildings. It's about teachers. Today, you don't find teachers in our schools. Yet we say we have an Edo-based education program. Well, you know, so when you look
we don't have enough, or there are no teachers at all.
Okay, in my village, for instance, the secondary school, we have 2.5 teachers.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that, there are 2 teachers, 1 principal who also teaches. So it's a half principal and a half teacher. That's why it's 2.5 for me. Okay? So there's no water. There's no, when you go to the rural areas in Edo State, there's no potable drinking water.
Yeah, but you were once a minister of state for budget and national plan. What did you do yourself to actually contribute to the development of Edo State?
I will come to
that. That will
that.
now make you want to come out to be governor.
I am coming to that. You asked the question, why do I want to? First, I have to analyze the problem.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I'm doing. And it's after analyzing the problem, I'll tell you what I want to do to make it look different. Okay? So there's so much deprivation in the state. There is urban poverty and there's rural poverty. And you know that urban poverty is monetary poverty. And the rural poverty is multidimensional in nature. In the urban areas, people who earn the minimum wage of 30,000, I think the state pays 40,000. The 40,000 cannot pay their house rent. So what is left for food? Nothing. What is left for transportation? Nothing. Yet the mass of our people are trooping to the urban areas from the rural areas because there's no sign of development at all in the rural areas. And then you come to the rural areas where we say there's multidimensional poverty. And what do we mean by that? Lack of access to basic education, because again, the schools don't have teachers, and in some places they don't have roofs. Lack of access to basic health. There are no primary health care centers around.
Yeah, I mean, and my viewers actually know some of these problems, but they're interested in knowing the solutions you're bringing to the table. For
me, what I'm bringing to the table, I've called a trust initiative, which some people also want to call a trust agenda. Okay. Trust to me means transforming our rural and urban spaces together. And what that means is that simultaneously work in the urban areas as well as you are working in the rural areas. And the first thing it does is that it stems this issue of rural-urban migration. It also solves our insecurity problem because a lot of people have moved from the rural areas to the urban areas. In fact, some of our villages are now empty. They are looking for opportunities which do not exist.
Yeah, Honorable Clem Agba, not just moving to the urban areas alone. Edo people are known to move all across the world.
Yeah, but
so my concern now, how you address them.
Yes, my concern now is they are trooping a lot to our state capital. The place is getting congested. There are no opportunities. So the slums are being developed. Vices is what we find. And you can hear the state of killings that are going on in Benin. So the issue is to provide these opportunities. And how do you provide them? We produce food, 60% of which gets bad. So why? No access to market. So what stops us from constructing rural roads, which is one of the program under trust? Constructing roads across the agro corridors. Integrated rural development, taking power to the rural areas. Not the grid power, but off-grid power. Right. And when you do that, you find that you're encouraging investments in those rural areas. And this could be cottage industries. Someone setting up a storage facility, some are setting up processing facilities. And provided that there is the ability to communicate, because telecoms is so important.
Yeah, I mean, very important people. Indeed.
So all this also need to be taken to the rural areas.
Yeah, but
when you transfer a teacher to the rural area and he knows he has accommodation to stay, he will go. He knows that there is power. He will go.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting that you've said some very interesting points here. But I'm curious to know what you did for the people of Edo State when you were Minister of State for Budget and National Planning. Okay. Because people will put it to you and ask you. I remember the issues of roads were raised with you, and then, of course, several issues, including that of traditional rulers and all of that. And when you were making your declaration, you said you were going to amend the laws and all of that. But I want you to speak with our viewers. What exactly did you do, and why should you be trusted to do it much better this time around?
Sambo, I am the first minister from Edo State since 1999 that has attracted over 60 projects to the state and across the 3 senatorial districts. There are lots of water projects in Edo Central. In Uromi area, there are about 3 major water projects there. The specialist hospital at Irua has got 5 of my projects. the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, about 5 of those projects. The Psychiatric Hospital in Benin, 4. We have road projects from the Akenwan Road in Benin all the way to Ikoro. Is 19.5 kilometer road that has been constructed. That is in Edo South. In Ovia Southwest, we constructed a bridge, the Aden Bridge. That the old bridge was dilapidated, and then we had to construct this new bridge because the community was now cut off from the oil palm and the mill in that area. There are street lights, there's water provision, there are markets that were done.
So, and you think that's enough to be able to win the confidence of Edo people for you to be able to get the seat?
Yes.
Get the APC ticket and then, of course, eventually win if you...
I've just talked about one senatorial district. There are hospitals that are being built, 80-bed hospital, mini stadium, libraries.
All completed?
All completed. And they are all functional. And I've been going around commissioning them. I was doing that before I left. The people know me. Apart from being minister, the work that I did as a commissioner for environment and public utilities. In fact, the 5 months I stayed as commissioner for land survey and housing, I started digitizing the place. And we started the Edo Geographic Information System.
Yeah, so many state governments copied from FCT.
Transformed King Square in Benin. You know where we call Ring Road?
The popular Ring Road.
Yeah, it used to be a garbage bin.
I remember when Oshomole was there.
Yeah, all those were my projects.
Yeah, so as we try to round off this conversation, talk to me about how you intend to go through this dicey situation of zoning. Although the APC has said that there is no zoning, but on the minds of people in Edo State, it looks like there needs to be some sort of fairness in Edo politics. How would someone from Edo North, like you, come out after Comrade Adams Oshomole has spent 8 years and Edo South has done 8 years, and there's an Edo Central that just seems to be like an orphan?
I think you're talking like Edo State started 16 years ago.
Well, we're in the 4th Republic now.
Okay. Edo South has produced 4 governors. Edo Central has produced 2 governors. Edo North has only produced 1 governor. Edo South has produced 3 ministers. Edo Central has produced 5 ministers. And I was the first minister from Edo North. And I was a minister of state. So it's now truly we have a minister from Edo North.
That's the current minister of Niger Delta.
So how do you place all of that? And again, when you are going into an election, you do your calculations and say, who will make us win? What will make us win? The stronghold of APC in Edo State is Edo North, where we consistently deliver an average of 83 to 85% of the votes. We don't get that from Edo Central. It is the stronghold of PDP. In Edo South is cosmopolitan. It's not consistent. Today he goes to the left, the next day he goes to the right. And even in the last general elections, the Labour Party cleared the Edo South. It was only Edo North that stood his ground. So are you going to go to your weakest point to pick your candidate? Just think about that for a minute. I think what is important for APC as a party is who has the pedigree. Who can make us win? Who is that candidate that is likely able to face the candidate from, maybe the likely candidate from PDP
and
that of the Labour Party?
And you think that candidate is you?
When you look at my pedigree, I spent 20-something years in the organized private sector. I was a manager with Chevron, not only in Nigeria, but in Kazakhstan. I've had a lot of foreign posting. I have sub-national experience, having worked at the state level. I have worked at the federal government level, and I've seen the disconnect.
Do you have a godfather? And could that godfather actually be Adams Oshomole?
Let me be true. I have seen the disconnect between the national and the subnational government and the opportunities that are there. I have worked with the multilateral agencies.
Yeah, but you haven't answered my question. Do you have a godfather, and does that godfather seem to be Senator Adams Oshomole?
I have God the Father, I have God the Son, I have God the Holy Ghost.
Okay, just before I let you go, Honorable Clem Agba, you and I know that in politics you do give and take.
Of course.
And within the politics of Edo State, there's this talk here and there that the zone that currently has the minister should not actually produce the candidate of the party. So, Abubakar Momo comes from Edo North as a minister of Niger Delta.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you actually be doing an injustice to other parts of Edo State if you emerge as candidate of the APC from the same Edo North again?
Okay, thank you. Again, I think we are trying to start history from today. My understanding of history is that you look at the past, right? Okay. Osubo was governor and Ogbesia was minister. And it was right then.
All from Edo South?
All from Edo Central.
Sorry, Edo Central, yes.
Godwin Obaseki was governor and Ehanire was Minister of Health.
Yeah.
2 times.
All from Edo South.
All, not just all from Edo South, both are from local government.
The same local government. In fact, anytime I look at that, I just keep wondering. I say,
so
the same local government.
Has changed?
So that's the same logic you're going to use if you do emerge.
Except you're trying to, you know, when you want to kill a dog, they say you have to give it a bad name so that you can hang it. So if you cannot find something to do with the capacity of this individual to say, no, he's not capable, he's not experienced, you have to look for something to
So that wouldn't count against you? Is that what you're saying?
No, it shouldn't. As a minister, I just did say that I worked for the state across the 3 senatorial districts. And as governor, I would do the same.
All right.
I've just told you that my wife is from Edo South. She's from Benin. Right. Even my immediate elder brother, he's married from Uromi, which is in Edo Central.
Yeah,
so
but very quickly, why did you make that statement that if you are actually elected governor, that you amend the laws not to dethrone traditional rulers? Very quickly before I let you go.
You know, it's based on experience, okay? Because the current governor believes that I do not agree with him, he came out with an announcement that my king has been deposed and that the crown itself has been revoked. And that is not right. You don't say because of an individual. And I also think that in the traditional institutions that we have, you know, these are representative of our culture and our heritage. And there is a process to installing them. In some of our climes, it is from father to son. It could be any son. In some, it's strictly first son. So how do you, when you now depose that, who do you now bring in? So I think that's something that should stay within the remit of the institutions to determine.
And not that
they
of the
are
governor.
Our pride. You
Okay.
understand? The respect we give them is the respect that we get.
Well, because you're a prince yourself.
Yes, my father was a king.
So I understand your feelings, but
Yeah.
I'm afraid we don't have enough time any longer. We must thank you so much, Prince Clem Agba, for providing an insight into the politics of Edo 2024 and, of course, how the APC hopes to actually get its candidate for the election. And we wish you all the best as you go into that contest. But I can tell you, 29 aspirants coming for just one position. You all have a lot of job to do at the APC in Edo State. Thank you so much for coming.